I want to thank the CSL music team and Nancy Wirtz for doing a great job of reading. And there's also a number of other ministers that'll be doing music for us today. We're in the final week of our 8-week series on the 5 agreements. Each week has been independent. All the weeks are out there on our website or our Facebook page. But today we're paying special attention to reality of the truth. You know, I suspect when we started this series that you felt like you probably already knew these agreements, that they were just common sense. They sound that way. However, what I noticed is that throughout this series, each of you has most likely gone deeper into your heart with these agreements and moved into who you really are at a deeper level. No longer pretending to be someone, but rather being your true, authentic self. Each week in the series, I've been asking you this question: are you willing to examine your beliefs? And today, I ask you to keep what you've learned in the other 7 weeks in mind and truly examine the reality of the truth. Ultimately, seeing your whole reality with the eyes of truth and completely accepting yourself just the way you are, while also completely accepting everyone else just the way they are. The question for the week is this: what is the one choice you can make today to consciously choose to be a messenger of truth and to be more attuned to the oneness of life? One more time. What's the one choice you can make today to consciously choose to be a messenger of truth and to be more attuned to the oneness of life? We can all probably agree that there are times when we are listening to someone and what they say does not seem to resonate with us. Their truth is not what we know to be our truth. So what is the reality of truth? Let's start with the word truth. The truth is that which is. It is all that is. The New Thought Dictionary defines it this way: in its universal sense, the truth means God, spirit, reality. In a lesser sense, the word truth designates anything that is true: a psychological truth, a spiritual truth, a physical truth. So when we talk about the reality of truth, what are we really saying? In his book, The Fifth Agreement, Ruiz calls us messengers. He talks about how we receive messages from various sources. And early in this series, we talked about how we receive messages from people that we use to define ourselves, that we take on these messages as agreements about who we are and about who others are. In The Basic Ideas of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote this: we need to keep clearly in mind the difference between a fact, something that is evident and concrete, and a truth, that which everlastingly is, whether we can see it or not. I admit that these words had me take pause the first time I read it several years ago. Facts are evident and concrete, like water is wet. Truths are everlasting, whether we see them or not. So many times in life, I've avoided the truth, berated myself for doing something not well enough, or thinking that I hurt someone and found it hard to forgive myself. The truth is that everything we do, everything we say, all of our actions are indeed part of divine order. And I truly believe that. And the truth is also that within us, we have everything we need to live a life that is filled with joy and bliss. Why is it so many of us then take the facts to be that a life of love and joy is not always possible? And for some people, they might think it's totally impossible. Do any of us truly believe that we were ever meant to suffer or to be in any state other than experiencing heaven right now? As you heard in the reading today, Ruiz reminds us, see if the story of you is the truth or not the truth. Just witness what is, without any judgment. For whatever you're creating is perfect. Can you imagine how much heaven you would feel if you truly lived your life just witnessing what is and knowing it was perfect? In a couple of the messages that we had in this series, I talked about you being the director of your own life's movie, about creating a life for yourself that is indeed lived more fully from the heart and from a place of non-reaction, embracing what it is your heart knows the truth to be for you. How do you think accepting the reality of truth can help you be a better director and create a more satisfying final product for that story of your life? To create the movie of your dreams, you must step into your own truth, into your own reality, and how that meshes with you living on a planet with more than 7 billion people, all of who have their own reality of truth. So how do we become messengers of truth? How do we learn to deliver the truth as our message rather than lies? One way is to take this advice from Holmes, to keep clearly in mind the difference between a fact and a truth. In Living Without Fear, Holmes offered us more words of wisdom. One of the intellectual difficulties which we must overcome is our apparent inability to realize that there is an ultimate truth, and the truth operates through our own mind in its native and original being and power. But our perception of the truth is an act of consciousness, as it is the inner perception which must recognize the spirit. Holmes is reminding us that there is an ultimate truth, the divine that operates in, through, and as us. And we must go within to recognize it. We're again back to that concept of listening to that still small voice within us. In Holmes' Reader on Practical Wisdom, he writes this: the truth is one and indivisible. Since we exist, we must be part of that truth. We are one with it. There is but one person in the universe, God, the Supreme Spirit. Everyone's personality is a unique representation of this one person in whom we live, move, and have our being. So this entire series on the 5 agreements brings us home to that basic belief, which is the philosophy that we're based on. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. We live, move, and have our being in the divine, in that one life. Where is the truth? Holmes actually tells us where to find it. If the truth is all, it must be everywhere. Being all, there is no other substance to divide it with. Being undivided, it is everywhere present. All truth, which means all power, must be present at all points, or at any given point, at any and at all times. Wow, now that's a lot to take in. Truth is everywhere present. That sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? I invite you to sit with these words this week and see how deeply you can go into recognizing your own essence of divinity. When we attune the inner ear to truly listen within our own being, we're listening for our own guidance, our own wisdom, that still small voice which guides us and gives us direction. And when we listen to that still small voice with our heart and not with our ego, that is the truth. When I spoke of the fifth agreement, I talked about the pure gift of listening, involving giving up the need to comment, to have an opinion, to fix or to argue about anything that's being said. And this is true of knowing the truth as well. It's important to give up the need to comment, to have opinions, to try to fix or argue. All we need do is listen from within. Then and only then do our messages become the truth. Then and only then do our messages convey that all people are divine and that each person lives a life with unique experiences and perspective, creating their own art in the world. We're all artists creating our own form of art. Then and only then do we empower ourselves and others to be powerful and to know our own way. You know, we're called human beings, not human doings. So let us learn to be and let be. Let us remember, at the center of being, we are all one. Let us take up the spiritual practice of being a messenger who speaks from the heart. How do you do that? Here's a quick process. Anytime this week when you start to speak, take a breath first and ask yourself quickly these questions. Am I speaking from my heart? Am I speaking out of love and kindness? Am I being guided by that still small voice within me? Is there some action I need to take right now to become a better messenger of the truth? If you can't answer yes to those first three questions, don't speak. Moreover, the fourth question becomes extremely important. Listen and take the action. Very often that action might involve taking some quiet time to attune to the truth, to truly allow the divine to speak to you about the reality of the truth in that particular situation. Embrace that action and do it. So in being such a messenger, notice that you discover a new oneness with everyone around you. Find the many ways you can bless your life with truth as you allow others to discover their own truth. And by the way, this particular process of questioning also works for when your monkey mind is trying to berate or belittle you with falsehoods, such as you're not being good enough or smart enough, or whatever your mantra might be. Deborah Day once said, "Nourishing yourself in a way that helps you blossom in the direction you want to go is attainable, and you are worth the effort." I know each of you is worth the effort, and I invite you to examine these wise words of Ralph Waldo Emerson from his essay on self-reliance. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Accept the place the divine providence has found for you, the society of your contemporaries, the connection of events. Great men have always done so and confided themselves childlike to the genius of their age, betraying their perception that the eternal was stirring at their heart, working through their hands predominating in all their being. I invite you to trust yourself, to accept the place of the divine providence has found for you, and to know the eternal stirring at your heart and working through your hands. So as we begin to complete this series, I leave you with our series question. Are you willing to examine what you believe? And with this reading from the Fifth Agreement, you are the king or queen of your kingdom. It's your creation. It's where you live, and it's all yours. You are dreaming your kingdom, and you can be intensely happy in your kingdom. How? First, you need to respect your own kingdom, or very soon that kingdom will be hell and not heaven anymore. Second, you will not allow anyone else to disrespect your kingdom. Whoever disrespects your kingdom is going out of your kingdom. It's your kingdom. It's your life. You have the right to live your own life in your own way, and there's no wrong way. The wrong way is just another judgment that we create. And so in summary, embrace all of who you are and live from the reality of the truth. To do that, know your truth. Keep clearly in your mind the difference between fact and truth. And notice if the story of you is the truth. The truth is one and indivisible. It's everywhere. We are all messengers of truth. There's only one life, God, and it's our life right here and right now. Use truth to empower yourself and others. Let your message convey that all people are divine. Remember, each person created their own art in this world. Honor that you are the king or queen of your own kingdom. So here's your affirmation for the week. How is it I so easily and willingly make the choice today to consciously choose to be a messenger of truth and to be more attuned to the oneness of life? And your challenge for the week? Make a conscious choice this week to review the movie you're producing of your life each day and simply notice, where were you a messenger of truth during the day and where you were not? Do this without judgment and with an open mind, learning where you can be a better producer or director of your life's movie. Remember, we are each messengers of truth. So I hope you've enjoyed the series. I want to leave you with one last reading from the Fifth Agreement. Wherever I go, I hear people say that we come here with a mission, that we have something to do in this life, something to transcend. Whatever it is, I don't know. I believe that we come here with a mission, but our mission is not really to transcend anything. The mission that you have, and the mission is true for all of us, is to make yourself happy. The how could be millions of different ways of doing what you love to do. But the mission of your life is to enjoy every single moment of your life. We know that sooner or later our physical bodies will no longer exist. We only have a few sunrises, a few sunsets, a few full moons that we can enjoy. This is our time to be alive, to be fully present, to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy one another. Let's pray. So we take a deep, nourishing breath and we settle into that profound love, that infinite intelligence that we call the divine. We know that within each of us, all that the divine is just waiting to be awakened, waiting for us to tap into that still small voice, because we are one with the divine. And what I know to be the truth is that each of us this week is paying more attention to being a messenger of truth, to being a person who's creating a piece of art that truly reflects who we are. And I am so grateful to know that the God without is the God within each of us. I'm grateful to know that we are the king or the queen of our own kingdom, and we can truly decide who belongs in that kingdom. So it's from all of that gratitude that I release these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action, knowing that the heart of God has already said yes, that all of this is already done, so I can just say amen, and we can affirm it together, and so it is. So I want to thank again everyone that is helping to help us find a place by donating and helping us move our finances up so that we have down payments and other things that we might need. I'm so grateful to all of the support in so many ways that all of you provide. Enjoy our offertory song.